All right, so anyhow, from that video to a situation happening right now in New England, when our buddy Bailey Zappe, of course, was sharing time with Mac Jones, one of the stories out there was that they didn't get along all that well. Here's a quote from Albert Breer on Mac Jones in regards to his relationship with Bailey Zappe. He was well liked early on, but over time lost support in the building. And the quarterback room he was in the last 2 years got toxic to the point where Bailey Zappe, as a rookie, sometimes watched tape in the receiver room. Now, to be fair, that does come from Sports Illustrated, and they're out of business. And they've also had AI write articles for them. But on this one, I'm going to take it at face value that Albert Breer is not making it up. It reminds me, though, of the interview we did with Bailey Zappe when I asked him about his relationship with Mac Jones. So let's rewind the clock and go back and hear the interview, and let's see if we view it differently now. Here's Bailey Zappe on The Carton Show.
You know, both of us are competing for the same spot, so we're not going to be, of course, the best of friends.
Not going to be the best of friends. And we kind of let that slide because it makes sense. We're competing. I'm going to root for you, but you're not coming over for barbecue. And now we're finding out that Mac Jones is a bit of a prima donna who made it very hard to want to fight for him on Sundays.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, once Brady left the building, they drafted Mac Jones. It seemed like there was calm in the water because he had a great rookie year. And then they brought in Bill O'Brien, and there was a disconnect right off the back. I think for Bailey Zappe, you know, you're looking at a guy, Mac Jones, who was 2-9 in his first in 2023, and even when they benched Mac Jones, there was chants about Zappe, right?
Yeah.
Remember, like, Zappe.
They felt Gusto.
Right, and I think Mac Jones took it personal because I think he felt, and he maybe took it like a badge of honor, like, I'm the one that's going to save the franchise.
Yeah. But to me, this goes back to Bill Belichick. Like, when we talk about why New England decided to divorce themselves of Bill Belichick after 24 years, this is one of the reasons why. Like, it's one thing you're not winning anymore. And obviously we know the narrative out there is, well, maybe it had more to do with Brady than it did Belichick. And while Belichick's going to the Hall of Fame, first ballot, blah, 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 you know, that narrative kind of builds some steam when you start talking about the dysfunction that we're now learning about. You know, it used to be in New England where it was the Bill Belichick way, and if you were going to be down with the program, you were gone. No matter what your name was, no matter who you were, bye-bye, we do things one way. And now we're learning that even under the watchful eye of Bill Belichick, that locker room got dysfunctional, not just on the sideline with coaching and having Matt Patricia and Joe Judge sharing, you know, offensive play calling duties a year and a half ago, and then trying to upgrade by getting Bill O'Brien back, who's got a better resume. And now you're finding out that there was such a lack of respect, or maybe tuning a deaf ear now to Bill Belichick, that your two quarterbacks are now preparing in different rooms from each other. Crazy.
You know why they had a toxic quarterback room? Because all their quarterbacks were bad options, and they were losing football games.
Sure.
It's that simple. And I do think it comes down to Bill Belichick, and you nailed it when you said the offensive coordinator last year was Bill O'Brien. Didn't do the greatest job.
No, he did
not. The year before that, it was Joe Judge, former special teams coordinator, Giants head coach, and Matt Patricia, who hasn't done anything good since he was a defensive coordinator with the Patriots. So, of course, it's going to be bad. And this all really does come down to Belichick. And I think that's one of the reasons. Well, a couple things is that teams aren't willing to take in Bill Belichick because he wants all the power from the top down. And if you look at his decision-making over the past 3 or 4 years, he hasn't made decisions that have earned him the top-down power he's demanding.
When we discussed this a month ago, I poo-pooed the notion that would have any negative aspect in a team going after him, and I argued against you guys on that. But the more and more these types of stories come out, look, his resume speaks for itself. Greatest coach of all time, period, stop. We can move on from that. But what you guys have said in the past and are still saying, which I do think is accurate, is that people are judging him. They finally got a win. Right? People are judging him now based on, what am I getting if I bring him here? Am I getting the great Sunday afternoon sideline guy? And that's it, because I could sign that guy. Or am I getting a guy that also allowed dysfunction to grow in his locker room, made terrible business decisions when it came to coordinators, never developed another quarterback
free agents.
The way he developed Tom Brady? Free agents don't want to play for him and all that stuff. And while I still think Bill Belichick will be a head coach again if he wants to be next year, based on what openings there are and what teams don't live up to expectations. Maybe it's not a surprise. Maybe it shouldn't be a surprise that the only team that we know of publicly expressing interest in him, as they did, to be fair, 14 other candidates were the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Says a lot.
And also, there was reports about him and Mac Jones not even talking to each other. Like, they went weeks. And this is supposed to be your starting quarterback at the time, and you're not talking to him? Like, that doesn't happen.
And I got to tell you, and you feel this way, you will, but as well as a Bills fan, I love it. Like, I can't get enough of this. Like, the more of this kind of I'm going to stab a teammate in the back stuff I can get under the Bill Belichick watch, for me as a guy that sat back and like a victim of sports abuse that I suffered for a quarter century, with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in New England, the fact that it's kind of crumbling a little bit and you have now darts that you can throw at Bill Belichick, I'm loving it.
If you're a 26-year-old Patriots fan, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
not what my dad
What is going on? We're going to lose it. We're not in the playoffs?
Now, the reality for New England, because they were so bad, they're going to get one of these young quarterbacks, coming out of the draft. And we'll see if the new regime can develop a quarterback the way at least Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady. But listen, as a Jet fan, a Bills fan, a Dolphin fan, any AFC team fan, a Ravens fan, a Steelers fan, I don't care who you're rooting for. The fact that wicked witch is melting.
Or like a game in Foxborough.
But Craig,
a game in Foxborough's a win. Like, you're going there and be like, oh, it's easy.
Yeah, but
not for the Jets, but
we shouldn't be surprised. Like, this team was bad this year, right?
I love it.
And right out the gate, like, this wasn't a team like who played the Dolphins, the Eagles, on and on. Valley, they were competitive, but they couldn't score. They couldn't do anything.
What's that thing again when you root for other people's demise? Stockholm syndrome? Schadenfreude? Schadenfreude. Yeah, I'm that guy.
I thought you were just
I love that. Craig Schadenfreude Carton. I'll take that all day. Like, New England can't suffer enough. Like when you read a story, or like when you're playing Call of Duty and you're like, not only am I going to kill the terrorist, I'm going to put an extra 5 pieces of lead in the back of his head. I want to see him suffer.
Yeah.
Right? And I do that in Call of Duty. I'm that guy. And they're like, dude, he's dead. Johnny Bravo, one more. Just to make my point, like a Navy SEAL Team 6 guy would do, right? That's how I kind of feel about New England.
Are you okay?
I mean, more negative stories, the better for me. I'm a great Call of Duty companion. Unless you don't follow my lead.
Oh, I see what that's.
I have been known to go lone wolf.
Really? You go rogue.
Leroy
I have been known to leave my guys over there while I'm taking care of
that down.
High pressure group environment, he goes lone wolf.
I'm much better in the solo campaigns.
You learned a lot about it, man.
Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.